All right, team. Welcome to the next fitness thing. This is Alexis. I am here right now with our CTO, Kevin Railsback. We are live, and this is our AIDS LifeCycle cardio party. So, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. This class right now is meant to be a cardio party. What that means is you can do whatever form of cardio that you're up for, whether that means that you're walking, you're running, or maybe you're cycling or spinning. So let's get this party started. Go ahead and start whatever you're up for cardio in 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, I'm going to say that you start a nice medium pace. We are going to give you some opportunities to turn it up as we get going. Now, I want to bring in right away our special guest, and the reason we're even doing this, this is the Next Fitness Things Chief Technical Officer and also the tech wizard behind it all. This is Kevin Railsback. All right, so Kevin, why are we doing this cardio party today? Will you tell us
Hey,
a
y'all.
little bit why? Why are we here?
Yeah, awesome. I've been for some time now doing AIDS Life Cycle, and of course, I've been doing all the tech magic behind the next fitness thing. And I was talking to Alexis about it and thought, well, how can we, sort of tie these things together, combine all of this? Yeah, we're here today to try to, raise money for AIDS Life Cycle and fund my participation in that and have some fun and do some cardio.
All right, that's awesome. Okay, so this is meant to be a fundraiser. You can participate for free, of course. And a big reason why we're here is to help Kevin in his efforts to raise money for this AIDS life cycle cause. So I'm going to put the donation link right up here on the screen. Give me 1 second to make sure I got it. There it is. All right, so here is our donation link right here. You go to the nextfitnessthing.com/AIDS lifecycle. Now, when you get there, there's a button that says donate, and it's going to take you to Kevin's donation page. Then the money goes directly to AIDS lifecycle. We're not touching it, anything like that. But this is just our way to get you there to make it easy for you to find. So the nextfitnessthing.com/AIDS lifecycle and click donate. And that's how you're going to be able to donate to this cause. So, Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about what AIDS life cycle? First of all, what is this?
Sure. Yeah, yeah. About 30 years ago, there was so a group that started what was, I think, originally called the California AIDS Ride. And the idea was basically to try to fundraise to help support, currently, basically, the organizations are the San Francisco AIDS Foundation and the LA LGBT Center. Back then, I'm not sure what it was
Got it.
originally, but basically the idea all of this time for these past 30 years, and there is one person who has ridden, I think, every one of those years, or maybe she missed one of them. Yeah, her name's Doreen. Everyone knows her. She's amazing.
Wow.
It's just unbelievable. There's a lot of people that have done it, 20, 30 times. And so basically, this started as a way, in the 90s to raise funds for AIDS research, for education. Obviously, it has evolved over time as there have been, treatments and better support and all of those things. Yeah, so it's just been this sort of ever evolving beast it's the largest of these sort of fundraising rides. Like the first year that I did it, we raised $18 million. This year so far, we've raised over 11. And
Wow.
it's just yeah, it's a huge event, and it's been going on for so long. It is also very expensive to put on this event because we're a moving city down the coast of California for a full week. And so they're going to sort of shift a little about how they're doing this fundraising and try some other ideas. So at least for now, this is the last ever AIDS Life Cycle ride.
Wow. So this is the last ever AIDS life cycle ride right now.
Yep.
This is it. Last
Mhm.
one.
Last one.
That's sort of amazing to me. It feels like such an institution. This has been around that it's not going to happen again. Wow. So there's got to be a lot of feelings going on with that for everyone. I mean, how many times have you done this?
So this will be my fourth time riding the ride. I also was a roadie once. Roadies are they're the ones that actually do all the hard work during the ride. I can talk a bit about that more, but yeah. So basically, I this will be my fourth time riding. I was a roadie once. I was a volunteer once, basically helping to set up for the beginning at the Cow Palace and those sort of things. Yeah. Um,
Wow. Okay, so it starts at the Cow Palace, and then where does it end?
Yeah, so basically, so it's a 7 day ride, and so we start at the Cow Palace in San Francisco, and we have blocked off streets and police escort and all of that to basically get out to the coast, and then head down one. The first night we camp in Santa Cruz. So basically, it's sort of imagine if you've ever been to the Bay Area, biking from San Francisco all the way down the beautiful coast through Half Moon Bay, where my mom lives, and all this down, and you end up in Santa Cruz for the night, and we camp at a big park there. I don't remember exactly the order and every single stop. Once we get to the camp, you know exactly where everything is and what's going on. It's like the first year is very weird because you don't know what's going on, and you're just trusting this huge community to like
You're
get
like
you down the
following the
coast.
swarm of bikes, basically,
Yeah,
I
and so in
imagine.
some ways it's kind of scary, because yeah, it's like 2,500 people biking down the coast plus all the people that are supporting it, right?
Wow.
But then then there's also some magic that you kind of lose in that because the first year everything's new and wow, and then you've done it a few times and you're like, oh, I hate this camp, or whatever. It's like we get to Paso Robles in obviously in June, and it's hot, and we stay at the state the like state fair or the fairgrounds basically,
Got it.
and so it's just hot and miserable, and you've biked a really long day and all of those. But then some of the other ones are like we're camping on the beach in Ventura, and so
Cool.
there's a lot of variety, and it's just it's a pretty magic experience.
Okay, so I have the map. I want to show this
Oh
is
yeah.
the actual map of the ride. I think this is I got this off the AIDS LifeCycle website, so I
Uh-huh.
think this is the official one. Okay, so it's a week basically, and you're camping at night. So not only are you riding your bike all
Right.
day, then you're camping at night, which is, at least in my experience, not the most comfortable sleeping experience usually.
Right. And when it's so like I said, it's 2,000 plus people riding their bikes, plus another 800 or 1,000 people supporting that, all of the roadies and all of the staff, and so it's like a giant tent city.
Fun.
Like we take over entire like baseball fields and football fields, and it's just this grid of tents across the thing. Yeah, and like finding your bike in the morning to start your ride. Like there's a whole process. They've evolved this over time to be a really efficient way to make all of these things happen. And like you say, it is camping every night, but it also having also done bike tours where I load all my camping gear on my bike and ride. This is much more supported than that. So
Right,
you pack
that's
up
true.
your bag, you pack up your tent, you take it to the roadies that drive these giant Penske trucks that are full of everybody's gear, and then it magically shows up at the next camp. And
Oh,
so
that's
all you
cool.
have to do, the when you're a rider, you have to eat enough, drink enough, try to sleep some in this tent city of people snoring, and then you just have to ride your bike, and that's all that's expected of you. The roadies, my wife Denise was a roadie the first year that I did it in
Yeah.
2019, and
Uh-huh.
they work so hard. It's just ridiculous. Like the amount, because like they're there to support the riders, and they can't just give up halfway through the day if they're exhausted or something. Like they have to make things happen.
Sure.
And so yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. I hear
It's a
you.
lot of fun.
Okay, so I just want to say I heard that I want to make sure this is a workout. So everybody who's here, first of all, shout out to everybody who's here live. So far, I can see Donna D, Carol, Sharon, Billy, Daniela, Kathy. There's more people than that. That's who's commented so far. So if you're here and you are live in the chat, give us a shout out so I can say
Amazing,
hey.
amazing.
And also, I've been hearing that there's a couple of really intense I mean, of course you're riding 545 miles. That's going to be really intense in general. But
Right.
you were telling me about a certain hill that's on the second day. We're about that far through this class. It's kind of like the halfway point actually right now of how long this event is. So what was the name of this giant monster?
Yeah, so there's this long, not crazy steep, but long hill called Quadbuster.
Quadbuster.
And yeah,
Love it.
Quadbuster is, I mean, it sounds really scary when you're doing it for the first time, and it is a hell of a hill. And like the first year, I wanted to ride every single mile. There's a thing in Age Life Cycle called EFI, every fucking inch, and
Okay.
people basically try to not, take a sag bus or take a sweep to get to the next rest stop, that sort of thing. A close friend of mine did that last year, and it's just so hardcore. So Quadbuster, anyway, sorry, is this very long, hard uphill climb that most people are able to do. Some people have to walk part of it. I walked the steepest part of it last year. Some crazy people, you imagine like the hardcore cyclist where their thighs are like the size of your waist. Those guys ride it 4, 5, 6 times. They ride to the top, and then they zoom back down like they're hauling ass going the other way while you're struggling up the hill, and then they come and pass you again, and they do it over and over. And it's like they're showing
All right,
off.
so everybody who's here live right now,
Yeah.
and even if you're on the recording, I'm giving you a Quadbuster right here. So I want you to up it right now and get up to at least fast pace. So I want you to do some kind of turning up the heat, and we're going to do this for the next 3 minutes. Ready, set, go. Here's your Quadbuster. Let's go.
Awesome.
All right, so I'm going to show you while we do the Quadbuster. Don't worry, we're going to still keep talking and making this fun. But this is the actual page so that you can see it if you're going to go and donate. thenextfitnessthing.com/AIDSLifeCycle. Right here, the green donate button, you click right there and you can see the progress of this fundraiser. So Kevin is his goal. Tell us a little bit about your fundraising goal and all that kind of part.
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, there's a lot that goes on to make this ride happen. And so, to be a rider, there's actually a minimum that you have to fundraise just to be able to take the ride, because otherwise, it's very expensive to put this event on, basically. And so it started off like my first year, it was $3,000. This year it's $3,500. But it's always
the minimum in order
that's
to.
That's the minimum. If I don't raise $3,500, then I don't get to ride.
Okay, so just so you guys hear that, right now, as at the time we're doing this live, Kevin has so far already raised $2,811, and he has to get to $3,500 to even be able to do it. So let's donate. Let's do this thing. All right.
Awesome. Yeah, and so obviously it's always important to, especially this year being the last year, and just the funding cuts that are happening for the support services for the foundations. Everyone's trying to set their goal even higher. So mine's 5,000 before June 1st. But June 1st is the first day of the ride. But I have to raise the 3,500 by the 20th, I think. So coming up really soon. That's why we're part of why we're
10 days from today.
Yeah. But there are some people. So also just to give a little more context on the fundraising, there are teams within AIDS LifeCycle. And so my first year, it was very appropriate because I was a newbie and didn't know what I was doing. The team that I joined was called Training Wheels, which I thought was hilarious. And it was in the Bay Area. We rode like every weekend, all over the Bay Area to sort of start. I started in January and the ride's in June. So you're like sort of working to build up your endurance and those sort of things. After we moved to Oregon, I joined Team Portland, because I live in Eugene, Oregon, if we didn't mention that. There's not a local team here in Eugene, so I joined Team Portland just because they're the closest. This year, though, a good friend of mine who lives in Sacramento, she's part of this team called Team Smiley, and it's you can imagine they're super happy, supportive people, and all of this, and they're in Sacramento and doing all the training there. And so they set a goal this year of 200,000. So basically, everyone who's on the team, all of your money pools together. And right now, I think we are the 13th we're in 13th place for the most money raised by a team. We're at 165,000 or something out of
Wow,
that 200. So every
that's
dollar that
awesome.
you give to me also supports that, and of course also supports the 11, 12 million. Hopefully, we're going to get to 15 or so um, for the overall ride. So basically,
Gotcha.
that's kind of the background on the goals.
Nice. All right, guess what? This is the end of the Quad Buster. Woo! You
Ha!
made it. So
Ha!
I am going to
Quadbuster
show
takes like half an
you.
hour.
Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Quad Buster for you is half an hour. And for us, it was a good 4 minutes.
Right,
So if
right.
you
That's
just
awesome.
went a good 4 minutes, imagine how challenging that is going to be for Kevin to do it for half an hour. And I'm giving you Kevin's halfway to LA photo as your reward for crushing the Quad Buster. Check it
Yeah,
out.
yeah, that's
Nice.
awesome. So halfway to LA is actually really interesting. It's on day four, right? It's halfway, and so basically it's at this little like scenic pull out where you can go and see the beautiful scenery, and it becomes this giant party because now you've made it halfway. Like it's all downhill from here, that sort of thing. And so yeah, they have all these signs. Everyone's like holding their bikes up or like they're getting in big groups and doing that. This is actually from my first ride in 2019.
Nice.
So actually you see there I'm wearing this that jersey is actually one of the special. There's a bunch of specialty rewards when you raise more money,
I
and
see.
so the first year I actually my goal was 5,000. I raised 8,000,
Oh, wow.
and so that's the 5K jersey, which I love. That's like my favorite jersey. It's really pretty.
Cool.
And so yeah, as you raise more, there's actually people that have there's a $20,000 jersey, and there are a few people that raise personally $20,000. It's really amazing.
Unbelievable. And where, I mean, I understand you said that we're the foundations that this is going to support, but I guess the thing that I would want to know in order to donate to is how does this make a difference in people's lives? How does this actually help?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so basically the event is put on by the San Francisco AIDS Foundation and the LA LGBT Center. And so if you are from Northern California, then all of the donations everything that you raise goes to the San Francisco Foundation. If you're from Southern California, wherever the line for that is, then all of that money goes to just so you're raising money locally, right? If
Got
you're
it.
from out of state, it gets split 50-50 between the two.
Nice.
Um, and so, yeah, there's a lot of programs. There is, prep and medical support. People that discover that they have HIV, right? They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They have clinics and doctors who are able to sort of help through that process, help you understand. They also do a ton of education, help, preventative work to make sure that people don't get HIV. There's, scientific research that's happening. There's all of these things, to try to, push for legislation that helps with like sex education, all of these things, like
Right.
anything that you can think of that would be preventative, especially and treatment wise, and providing, folks that don't have health care, health insurance, they're able to provide the health care for those folks. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm totally agree. And just side note, this has been something that has been in my personal awareness for a while, especially I was living in San Francisco for a really long time. And I was a cheerleader in San Francisco for an organization that was raising money for these kinds of causes for HIV and AIDS. So, basically, the finish line was one of our cheerleading events. So I've actually been to the finish line for this. It wasn't
Right.
the same year that you went across the finish
Mhm.
line, but it was amazing. I mean, here, I have a photo of you at the finish line, and I think this is the finish line. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that's me crossing. That's 2019. Yep.
but the energy was incredible, and just to see how many people had gone on this amazing,
Oh yeah.
huge journey, and I mean, just wow. So, I mean, this is a cause that for me is dear to my heart as well. So, it was really cool to hear that this was something that you're into, and that we've kind of both, I can't even claim in any way that I've done anything close to the ride, but I was there to cheer on the finishers at the end.
really amazing. Actually, this is a great photo. The guy on your screen, the guy to my left, is you
Your
can't really
left this
tell from
way.
this, but he basically has a Captain America costume, and he's been, I think he's done it for 20 years now.
Cool.
It's like there's I guess something to touch on is the community that makes this happen. It's
Right.
just so, it's called the love bubble, and like you feel everyone feels supported. Like you can't make it, across for the day, that sort of thing. Like everyone is supporting everyone else. It's like it's the best week of the year, and this is why I'm really going to miss it when this is gone. It is just
Right.
such a inclusive and supportive community of people that, obviously everyone has the same goal and we're all trying to raise money and all of that. But really the hard work for, I would say the hardest work for the cyclists happens before the ride. We have to
Right.
raise money. None of us are good at fundraising. It's not fun to ask people for money repeatedly.
And it's not your job to do it or something.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
like your professional
And like the first
fundraiser.
year, yeah, the first year it's easier, right? But now, every single year I ask all the
Right.
same people for money and that sort of thing. And then of course all of the training, which is really hard to be able to then, ride it's hard to ride 50 miles, right? It's really hard to ride 50 miles and the next day get up and ride 70 miles and the next day ride 30 miles. One of the days on the ride is 109 miles.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a killer.
Wow.
So you have to get
Donna
up.
D is asking, how did you get involved in this in the first place?
Yeah, so I mean, I lived in San Mateo. I lived in the Bay Area as well, and I had a couple of friends. I was into cycling, obviously, and I had a couple of friends that had done it and were really, really passionate about it. And I was like, oh, that sounds too hard. I don't think I could ever do that. And then I actually got a touring bike, and I did a bike tour across Oregon while I was still living in California. Sort of like, I think I could probably do this. And then the company I was working at the time, one of the people that I worked with, she was not a cyclist, but her best friend had ridden Age LifeCycle. And so she's like, I'm going to do it. And she did it in 2018 and came back and had a blast. So I'm like, she doesn't even, I bike to work almost every day at that job. She didn't, but she still was able to do it and had tons of fun. And so that sort of convinced me, okay, I should actually do this thing. And that's kind of how I got started. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. My other question, RD Sharon B just joined us and she says good morning. And my question, not necessarily from her, but she made me think of it, is how do you fuel for this? What do you eat before and during, and what does that look like?
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest costs for Aiden's Life Cycle is just the food, because it's just everyone's burning so many calories. I mean, the cyclists obviously, but even the roadies that are out, 8-10 hours supporting everyone and in the heat and all of those things. And so the way that the ride actually works, like we mentioned, there's 6 camps, right? And there's that whole process where that camp moves down the coast, and there's obviously unlimited buffet, eat all you possibly can sort of thing. Lots of pasta, as you can expect, that sort of thing. But then during the ride, there are 4 rest stops basically, plus a lunch stop, or sometimes that becomes one of those. Some of the days are longer, some are shorter. There's water stops and all that, but everywhere is just crews of roadies handing you food. Like, here's half a banana, here's a banana, here's,
I see.
all of it, like every snack you could ever think of. It's like you can eat whatever you want because you're burning it all off, is sort of a lot of people's attitude about the thing. Lots of chocolate milk everywhere. Like, it is just, it's amazing how much you eat in that week. And yet, you're like, you still feel hungry at the end of the day.
You're fitter at the end, basically.
Thousands and thousands of calories every day riding down the coast. Yeah. So it is a challenge. I think that's one of the things. There's lots of fresh food. There's, every camp has a full, like, commercial kitchen in a semi truck, basically, that moves its way down so that they're able to cook real food and keep everyone fueled.
Sharon's asking, do you take gels and fuel while you're cycling too,
Mm-hmm.
or do you just rely on the food that they're handing?
No, yeah, for sure. At every rest stop, there's also some that are called water stops, where there's not food. There's not like a lot of things, just like water and electrolytes and that sort of thing. So at every one, there's Powerade, or whatever the sponsor this year. I think the last couple of years it's been Powerade. as well as water, and then just snacks to grab. There are gels, there are the tablets, and all of those things to go in there. Yeah. Um,
So
yeah,
you have
it's
something on your bike where you can like take your fuel with you and maybe water and stuff like that as you go.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I'm
everyone
sure you're all set
carries
up.
at least two water bottles. Yeah. Um, there are support vehicles that are called sweep that basically, if you break a chain or hurt your knee or whatever, they'll come and you basically flag them down and they'll pick you up. But they also will just stop and give you more water, especially on the hottest days. They're just going along, handing out snacks. Part of the way that this thing happens safely is this team called Moto, and basically it's all these guys on motorcycles that are able to go to like everywhere that there's a decision to be made. You get bike brain, right? You're going down the road. There's arrows that they go that a team goes ahead of time and puts up. But Moto basically is like, hey, make sure you go this way. They're flagging you down. They're blocking traffic for people to cross, and they all have snacks. Like everything. Everyone needs to keep fueled, and so that's a huge part of it for sure.
Okay, we're getting toward the end of the time, so I want to just ask you, what is your personal goal as you go through this? What are you
Yeah,
hoping for as
yeah. I
part of
mean,
this journey?
the first year, my goal was to just complete the thing and try to ride every mile. I did skip half of or almost half a day on the hottest day that first year. This year, my goal is really to just enjoy the experience and spend this last ride with all the people that I've gotten to know, and um, yeah, just make sure that whatever follows this is well supported. But yeah, I mean, it's basically like I was saying briefly. You know the hard work for cyclists is getting ready for the ride. The ride is basically a giant. I mean, it's really hard, but it's also a giant party down the coast. Like we've earned this, right? And
Right.
so that's what I want to enjoy one last time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, lightning round. Carol's asking, where do you actually ride? On PCH, interstates, secondary roads, tertiary roads?
Yep.
What kind of roads are you on?
Mostly we stay off. There is one section where we actually get on 101, but for the most part, the entire ride follows the coast or smaller roads. Um, Only in San Francisco are the roads actually blocked off for us, and because we're just this giant mob. Imagine like the beginning of a marathon, that mass of people, and then everyone sort of spreads out, and the fast people go first, and all of that. And so from then on, most of the time things aren't blocked off for us. We're riding on the road. There are
Oh, really?
some bike paths, but
That's not what I
mostly we're
pictured.
riding on rides. Yeah,
So you're riding with the cars. There's cars, and you're on the side, and
hmm
that's how it is most of the time.
most of the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And then one more question is, what are you doing for recovery?
Yeah, so we a friend of mine who actually lives in Sacramento, she did the ride the first time last year. We are getting an Airbnb in Santa Monica, and my wife Denise is going to fly down. She's not a roadie for the ride this year. And her and Bridget's husband is going to come down, and we're just going to sort of hang out by the beach and relax for a few days, and yeah, and rest and
And
recover.
stretch and get a massage, or
Oh,
what's your
of
plan?
course, all of the physical recovery things, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking more, yeah, mentally after this whole ordeal. Yes.
Yep. And you're gonna just take all the next fitness things, just fit yoga classes and stretch classes, and make sure that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
got
for sure.
all your recovery going. Nice. All right. Well, I'm gonna put the donation link up here one more time. Everybody is just so cheering you on in the chat right now. Sharon says, "This is incredible, very cool. We might need a class for pre-race training." Kathy
Yeah.
says, "This is so impressive." She also says she donated.
Nice. Thank
Um,
you.
and basically, everybody is just totally cheering you on in the chat and really excited. So I'm putting the donation link up here one more time. And I just also, my request to you is also keep us posted how this goes during that week. I know that, you'll be out there and we're going to be loving to follow your progress along the way,
Absolutely.
just hear how it's going and that kind of thing. And yeah.
Yeah,
All
awesome.
right. So the nextfitnessthing.com/AIDS lifecycle, that is the donation link if you need it. It will stay open until you said May 20th is the deadline
Well, that's
for
the deadline for me to hit the minimum, but I'm still
got it.
fundraising until, the ride starts in June. Yep.
Beautiful. So you do have until June 1st.
Hmm.
And if you can donate before May 20th in order to help Kevin get to his minimum fundraising goal, that would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
Great. And I feel like I kind of want to check in real time and see if we can see. I don't know how fast these things update. I don't even remember what the number was before, to be totally honest, but maybe you do.
2,800.
All right. Well, it's a little higher than that right now, so woohoo! Thanks, you
Makes progress.
guys. Awesome. So, Kevin, good luck. I don't know what they say. What do they say for bike riding? They say break a leg? Probably not, right?
No, no, definitely not break a leg. No, that would be bad.
So best of luck. You have a cheering section in us, that's for sure. We're cheering you on it's probably not every step of the way, it's
Every pedal stroke.
every pedal stroke. We're cheering you on. And thank you, team. Thank you for showing up for this event. Thank you for all of the lively questions in the chat and for all of it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, all right.
Awesome.
Kevin,
Thanks,
have a
y'all.
wonderful time.
You too. Thanks.